Hi guys, and welcome back to Birmingham Fan TV, and welcome to your Preston North End match preview. And it is just me today. Nobody else was actually available to do this one, so we're going to give this one a go. And obviously I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget, before we get into the video, to like the video and leave a comment down below, guys. Get as many comments in as we can on this one. Leave your score predictions down below. Obviously, again, if anybody gets this one right, we will shout them out in the match review. Obviously, well done to Justin last week. And don't forget to leave your team lineups. It'll be interesting because there's a lot of players in contention for this one. With Magoma back fit, Marabti, does he continue to play? Does Bellingham continue to play? But we will get into that one a little bit later on in the video. And obviously, a massive thank you to our sponsors. This match preview is sponsored by Boyle Sports. Obviously, thank you very much for them. Go and check them out. Obviously, as long as you are over the age of 18, please don't forget to gamble responsibly. So let's get into it. Obviously, our opponents this weekend are Preston North End. They currently occupy the top 6 spots and are currently 5th in the table. They are level on points with us, but are way superior in the goal difference department. So obviously, they are a threat. Preston are a very good team, a team that often go under the radar, a team that are often potentially underappreciated in the Championship and slightly overlooked by some of the, let's say, bigger clubs, or maybe some of the relegated clubs or anything like that. Preston are always a consistent team in the top 10, pushing for playoffs late on, and are very, very good at what they do. Obviously, the previous meetings between Birmingham City and Preston North End, Blues have won 35, drawing 23 and losing 37 to Preston, having just the upper hand between the two sides as they go head-to-head this weekend. In the previous 5 meetings between the two teams in the league, it's not been so good for Blues. The previous meeting was a 1-0 away defeat, obviously in the 90th minute at Deepdale back in March. Before that, it was a comfortable 3-0 home win for Blues, obviously with that Kieftenbeld screamer, fluke goal, whatever you want to call it, that's what it was. And obviously before that, it was January, it was a 1-1 draw away at Preston. And before that, it was 2 defeats on the bounce, a 3-1 home defeat to Preston in September 2017 and a 2-1 away defeat in February 2017. So it's never been pretty reading for Blues against Preston, and obviously the stats are there to back that one up. And Preston are a team that are full of ability. They are full of natural footballers. They are full of technical players and players that will hurt teams. They are a team that will like to come and keep the ball. They will try and dominate the game as much as they can. So Blues need to make it difficult for them, and I think the best way to go about it is to do as we did at Charlton, to go and take the game to Preston and make sure that we set the tempo first. We get on the front foot early on. We try and keep the ball, keep mistakes minimal, and try and keep them in their own half as much as we can, because they are a very dangerous team. So obviously in Preston's last 5 games, they are making for pretty reading for them, and obviously slightly worrying for us. They come as a team bang in form. Last weekend, they did win 2-0 at home to Brentford, but previous to that, they drew 1-1 away at Nottingham Forest, which, as we all know, is an excellent result, as Forest have started the season very brightly. And before that, it was a 2-1 home win to Sheffield Wednesday, and before that, a 3-1 home win against Stoke, and unfortunately a 3-2 defeat for them away to Swansea, which we all know is a very, very difficult game. So out of the 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat in their last 5, it makes for very good reading. Their previous team, which was the team that lined up against Brentford, Rudd in goal, Fisher, Bauer, Davies and Rafferty as a back 4, a holding 2 of Brown and Ledson, an attacking midfield 3 of Bodin, Johnson and Maguire, and they are currently using Tom Barkhausen as a number 9 currently. But all players there, I believe, will interchange in this game. They're a team that like to play fluidly. They will change positions accordingly. They'll move, they'll float, and I think that's always a worrying sign when you've got players that know the attacking positions inside out. However, I do think Blues can match them at that. I think that the back line this season has been so solid. We can go into this game and know that our defensive record at home is pretty good. Only 2 conceded this season. And we haven't lost at home this season. And obviously that's following on from a very, very good home record last season, where we are hard to beat at home. We have got a solid defence at home. We don't concede many at home. It doesn't matter the attacking threat. So I do come into this with enough confidence to think we can get something from this one. Obviously, the danger men I do highlight for Preston. Out of if I was to pick 3 out of their last lineup, depending on who starts, you've got to look at Brown in midfield. A very, very good player. He scores plenty of goals from midfield, plenty of assists, and he's a very, very talented player. Daniel Johnson, we all know, who scored at St Andrews last season, or the season before, I believe. And a very, very good player. He causes a lot of problems, and he's been a wanted man in the Championship this season. And following on from that, Tom Barkhausen, surprising to see him in a number 9 position, but again, a very, very, very good player, and one that Blues are going to need to obviously shackle if we are to be successful at this weekend. Looking at Blues for this one then, obviously the team lineups for this one, and I'm going to give my predictions now. I personally think this is going to be a quite easy one. An unchanged team for Blues, I would probably say, is going to be the key to this. A lot of stability. I think Pep liked the way we played last week. We played with a lot of confidence. We kept the ball well. We moved it well in the attacking third, and we were solid in defence. And I think that is going to be massive going into this one. I think Pep is still yet to find his best formula, his best players that fit into that formula, but he definitely is close now with this 4-2-3-1. So it's going to be a Camp in goal. It's going to be a back 4 of Maxime Collan and Pedersen on the fullback positions. A central 2 of Mark Roberts and Harley Dean. A central midfield 2 pairing in that sort of holding role of Sunjic and David Davis, who were absolutely outstanding last weekend, and for me were the 2 key components in that Blues team last week. An attacking 3 of Dan Crowley out on the right. Jude Bellingham, again, I believe will start, the 16-year-old, on the left-hand side of midfield. And then a number 10 of Kerim Marabti feeding off the Duke up top. And ultimately, you have got plenty of options on the bench. You've got to look at Jax Magoma, who came on and was very, very impressive when he did come on at the weekend against Charlton. Played a good cameo for 20 minutes. You've got Gary Gardner, is always a good option in midfield. Alvaro Jimenez, again, obviously came off the bench, and we know that he's growing into the league. He's showing signs of why he was the top scorer in the Segunda Division last season. And obviously the potential return of Fran Villalba, obviously very talented player, and I think I'd like to see him on that left-hand side where Jude is currently, occupying that space where he looks a little bit more natural and a little bit more comfortable. Obviously, we will leave some stats up here on the right-hand side. One player I do want to highlight as a key player for Blues in winning this one is Dan Crowley. His statistics from the weekend were very, very impressive, completing 28 of his 34 passes. 12 out of 17 were in the attacking third. He was a consistent threat all game for Blues, and was the key for me as to why we did so well going forwards. He completed 3 out of his 6 take-ons to beat his man. 3 out of 4 tackles shows that he did also get involved. He gets stuck in. He's a player that doesn't shirk a tackle. 8 ball recoveries and 3 chances created in that 90 minutes. A chance every 30 minutes he did create, and for a singular player to create that is very, very impressive in one game. Dan Crowley, for me, is going to be the key again. If we can get the players to link up around him, Jude, Max, Marabti and Duke, he's the key. He's the central component, and I think that Blues need to utilise him the best way that they can. I think his best position is number 10, but he can certainly comfortably operate in those attacking midfield positions, guys. But let me know, do you agree with that? Do you like what you've seen of Dan Crowley so far? Is he going to be key for Blues this season? And finally, the score prediction. I've got to be optimistic. I've got to go into this one with a touch of optimism after the weekend. We can't be too negative. So we're going in with a 2-1 win. I do believe Blues will have enough. I think that they will be... There'll be an air of confidence after last week. I think we've had some home games where we've won, but we've not been confident. And we've had some games where we've gone into it and maybe been a little bit fortunate, but I think that the system's starting to settle down. The players are starting to understand each other a little bit more, and I feel that the team is growing into this new philosophy. I'm certainly seeing a lot more off the back end of the Stoke game and the full 90 minutes at Charlton. But let me know your thoughts. I'm going with a 2-1 win. Goal scorers Kerim Marabti and Dan Crowley. But let me know in the comments down below your score predictions, your lineups and your thoughts ahead of the Preston game on Saturday, guys. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to our partners at Boyle Sports, and don't forget to leave a like, comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And that's all for me, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to the preview show, and we'll see you for the after-match review show on Sunday morning, guys. It's going to be out at 8 a.m. for you guys to obviously dissect the Preston game, and hopefully it is a positive result. Keep right on.